One. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are at this time of the day. It's Taryn here from Able to Travel. And if you tuned into the live yesterday on Instagram, you would have noticed that I would have had Shireen Ornia, right? Or Shireen is going to get me on this, but she needs to coach me on her surname. Shireen O'Neill from Women in Tourism. Unfortunately, due to connectivity issues, we couldn't actually do a live. And so I am doing a pre-recorded version of the live conversation from yesterday. However, this morning, I'm not chatting to Shireen as she had a further commitment, so she couldn't make this morning's meeting. But I am chatting with Fayrouz Holliday, also a member of Women in Tourism, and who has our own company called Halal Hopper. We've invited Fayrouz along to have a conversation on behalf of Women in Tourism. But I'm also interested in Fayrouz's perspective because she is instrumental also in tourism in Dubai, and she's worked and lived here as well. I'm not sure if she's there, but we'll catch up more with Fayrouz to tell us more about that. Good morning, Fayrouz, and thank you so much for joining us on such short notice. But I'm so happy that we get to have this conversation. How are you doing?
Assalamu alaikum from Cape Town, Taryn.
Walaikum
I'm very
salam.
well. I'm sure you're hearing so much Assalamu alaikum around you and Habibti and all of these beautiful words around you. And you are so used to it because you come from a community in Cape Town, you know, where spoken all the time and every day. Yeah,
absolutely. So in fact, it's so lovely to have you. But in fact, I have many people say, are you Muslim? Because I'm using all the Arabic words I know here. I'm salamin left, right, and center. I'm alhamdulillah left, right, and center. It's like I've got my Arabic and I'm going to use it.
You go, girl. Listen, it's so nice when we get into different countries, you know, and if we can at least just greet somebody in that language, then of course, you know, they just feel comfortable and they now understand that, you know, that you are serious about being where you are right now.
Absolutely.
You know, and interest in the people of the country as well.
Absolutely. It was Nelson Mandela that said, if you speak to someone in your language, you'll speak to their mind, but if you speak to them in their language, you'll speak to their heart. I always remember that. Yeah, and I always try and take that with me to learn wherever I'm going, at least a greeting, at least a thank you, at least a please, at least excuse me. Because otherwise, I think as a traveler, it's also your responsibility. Otherwise, we kind of come in with this arrogance of expecting that people should speak our language in their country. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so no, it's been very interesting. So Fayrouz, please, I would love to hear, let's tell the audience a little bit about Women in Tourism and your involvement with Women in Tourism.
Okay, so Women in Tourism was initially established in 2015, launched in 2015, but our first annual general meeting actually took place in 2021. And I'm happy, you know, to be a part of that executive today, which is made up of 6 exco members. So chairing us, you know, I call her Madam Chair, you know, I love watching Madam Secretary, and I just find that, you know, when you have that kind of connection with it, it just kind of, for me, just elevates people in the position that they are, and they feel, you know, that they have a sense of responsibility then towards the executive itself, and of course ultimately the members. So yes, our Madam Chair is Lizelle Bailey, and we're happy to have her at the helm because, you know, she actually drives us as a driving force, I promise you. And you know, we come with lots of challenges, but at the end of the day, when we leave the room, you know, we know exactly who we are, where we are, and what our mission is at the end of the day, and our purpose. Yes. So our deputy chair is Chantal McBain Charles. She is our deputy, and she's also very, very good at what she does. And then, of course, our treasurer is Shireen Onia. Okay, it's Onia. We have our secretary. She's Jamie Stafford. Jamie Lee Stafford, she's also fantastic at what she does. And then we have Michelle Page, as one of the exco members. She and myself, we do the events, but Michelle is obviously at the helm of that, because Michelle has been in the industry for a long time. And collectively, all of us, we make up a gazillion amount of years together in industry. So, we come from hospitality and tourism, and the one can't go without the other. And
Absolutely.
I think the balance is that really good, so that we look at the interest of everyone's heart in the travel, hospitality and tourism industry.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit, sorry to interject, but can you tell us a little bit more specifically, what does Women in Tourism, because it's a members association, I'm a member, a proud member of Women in Tourism, but please give the audience just a little bit of what does Women in Tourism do? Why was it set up, and why Women in Tourism?
Look, if you look at tourism on the whole, it is male dominated, right? I can actually say it's white male dominated, because every space you look into, especially management and those positions, you find that collectively women take up most of the numbers in tourism and hospitality as a whole. But in managerial positions, you don't find us there. That's the difference. So of course, us as women, our plight, our purpose is also to be recognized, in the industry for our capabilities at the end of the day. And Women in Tourism obviously does advocacy around that, to make sure that women are recognized, the voice is heard, we are in the correct places. And if there are any issues where that is concerned, then of course, we need to look into it and see, how we are able to assist with that. We're not the info.com kind of say, but yes, we disseminate different and lots of information from the different sources that we get it from, and of course legitimate sources, so that our women and we do motivational sessions, we have educational workshops, we have different incentives, lots of programs that we're busy with, and this is how women can actually benefit. So we're actually there for a purpose, and just not a mission and a vision, if you know where I'm coming from.
So it's not just another, a hit piece or talking piece. The women learn, as you said, there's motivational talks, there's workshops, there's information that gets passed via emails to really empower women, as well as opportunities for access to grants and so forth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, absolutely. We've just completed also, Chantal and myself were one of the first women that were chosen for the Women in Tourism Nedbank, the program that they had. So yeah, when it kicked off initially, we were of the ones that were chosen, not because we sit on the executive, but because, it was through a process and interviewing us and making sure that the facilitators at the time, they obviously handpicked the correct people to be able to grow their businesses.
Absolutely.
And what's phenomenal about it is that a lot of the women that were chosen had come out of being a member of Women in Tourism, and that's absolutely amazing.
Wow, it just shows you the quality of the members that you have in Women in Tourism.
If I can say this to you, that Lizelle and I actually had just a laugh the other day. We were in a meeting, and then she was saying to the person that, with Women in Tourism, when we started, we had 11 members. 6 of them were the exco. Today we are over 80 members,
Wow.
So in a short space of time. And we took up the Women in Tourism last year in September, and a year later we've grown the membership from the 11 to over 80.
And 80.
I think that's a phenomenal jump.
Absolutely.
Because, for people to believe in an organization that is able to be there for them, for the purpose that it serves, that they are able to walk away, paying their membership fees and knowing that I've gotten something out of it. And of course, we also have, when we have our meetings, we have meetings for non-members as well, and they pay a small fee to come in. But when they come in and they look at the value that Women in Tourism actually gives them, You know, why would you pay 100 rand or 50 rand every time when you have to come where else you a member for a year for 500 rand, and you can have all, you know, the women in tourism offers.
Opportunities for a very low membership fee, I might add, on a yearly membership fee as well. And I'll chat a little bit more towards the end, where we can leave people the information to let them know how they could become a member, and which platform they can actually contact Women in Tourism on. But one thing that really stands out for me, and I know why I joined Women in Tourism, was because the very reason that you spoke, it's so hard for women in the tourism industry, because it is dominated, by males predominantly, white males predominantly. So really, to get up and to get a voice in there is so important. As we know that I'm here in Dubai because I am looking at the East for wisdom and also for best practices in accessible tourism. Now, the reason why I joined Women in Tourism as well, because accessible tourism really, really impacts women the most. If we look at the structures of our buildings, I think I've lost Fayrouz. Okay, you're back. Sorry, you went away for a couple of seconds there. But I really looked, and if you look at our infrastructure, if you look at the way that the tourism, the hotels are built, all of our tourism products are built, and we see that if it is inaccessible, it is we women who bear the brunt of inaccessibility. Why do I say that? A, because women, we outlive men. Women have a higher disability prevalence rate than men. Women are also the mothers and caretakers of children with disabilities. So we are the ones that end up pushing up the prams. We're the ones that, women also predominantly are the caregivers of our aging family members, right? Our mothers, our grandfathers, our family members. And so when we look at who the infrastructure really, really either limits, right? But this really does limit, because that's exactly what inaccessible infrastructure does. It's women that bear the brunt of that. And so for me, it's so important that as we empower women, we really look from the basis of saying, what are we offering in tourism and who does it benefit? So from this point of view, I mean, what is the Women's in Tourism stance about accessibility?
Look, we have had the conversation because, I mean, you're also a member of Women in Tourism, and when we go out to do anything, we obviously look at who we're inviting, where we are going to make sure that it is accessible. And from every corner, whether it is catering to the needs of halal, for example, that is inclusive at the same time. Yes. And when you say accessible, it needs to be inclusive at the same time.
Yes.
And I think accessibility and inclusivity, they connect with each other. They partnership. So knowing that we have a voice as Women in Tourism, I'm sure we are able to, when things are on the table, we are able to then sit around the same table and then have that conversation to see how accessible the place is, the venue is, the attraction is, the restaurant is, it may be, to the particular women that actually visit it. And like you say, I don't think people have even realized, the role that women actually play when it comes to that accessibility. Because, for example, I've noticed as well, Taryn, when I go into a place, women's toilets are always the furthest away compared to a male's toilet. Have you noticed that?
I've never noticed that. Wow.
Yeah. I always say to myself, why do I have to walk further than the men to get to the toilet? And I just kind of picked it. Maybe just check it out again. I don't know. I've seen that and I was like, oh my hat, that's like, I should say, oh my dookie.
Oh my dookie.
But it's just that I think we've just been oblivious to the fact of a lot of things. And as we are being educated, there's an awareness being created around it. We're seeing things differently nowadays, and feeling things differently nowadays, because we obviously have to be cognizant of everybody around us. I've just been connected to the National Blind Conference that was happening in Cape Town a few days ago now. So it kind of, when you actually sit back there and you realize, how grateful you should be for everything that's been given to you.
Yes.
You have to now be cognizant of the fact of other people around you. And whatever we do nowadays is we need to realize that we need to be inclusive and accessible all the time.
Absolutely. That's very interesting that you were at this blind conference, because I know that you've got first-hand experience of being in a situation where you were catapulted and said, okay, now you have to be a tour guide to a bus of people, right, who had visual impairments. And you basically needed to act like right there at the moment and jump into that position. Please tell us a bit more about that experience.
Okay, so I was at a meeting at Westgrove, and at this meeting, 10 people were invited to come to the meeting, and unfortunately, out of the 10, I was the only one that pitched up. And the people that we had to meet, they came from the Overberg, so a lot of them were from, they were from Hermanus and Swellendam. So I was the only one in the meeting, first of all, that had pitched, and the meeting then continued. And then the lady gets a call, and the lady of Westgrove, it was Inga Dijkerman at the time, and she gets a call and she says, like, listen, she's going like, yeah, no, you know the normal call where you can see something's wrong, and I'm like, oh my goodness, but she keeps on looking my way, and I was like, I don't understand, but anyway. And then she finishes off the call and she says to the people in the room, like, listen, I know you've come all the way, you were supposed to have 10 people here. Fayrouz is the only one that pitched up. And now I'm sitting in a situation that we've got a busload of people sitting with no tourist guide on it. They're in the city. My chairman is on that bus as well. And at the end of the day, the tourist guide just can't get to the bus because of traffic and everyone else. And they've been waiting for 35 minutes already. And she kept on looking at me, and I was like, okay, spill it, and she says to the people in the room, is it okay, if we can adjourn the meeting, because we've already covered a lot of the stuff, if I can actually get Fayrouz to go and do the tour? And they were like, yeah, we're happy to, it's not a problem, we've done, and we exchanged business cards and everything is sorted. Then they rushed me down to the Artscape Theatre, and there was this bus waiting for me, and I was so excited now, I'm going to tour. And the minute I was about to get in the bus, here comes out this gentleman, and he says to me, can I have a moment with you quickly? And he says to me, I just want to let you know that inside this bus are 25 visually impaired people. And my shoulders just went like, how now, And I said to him, will you just give me a moment, He was like, yes, it's fine, I can understand, because you didn't know what the setup was anyway. You didn't know who was in this bus. So it's not a problem. And when he went back into the bus, I just took outside and I said, first of all, yeah, Allah, God, please, guide me, make sure that whatever I say today, is going to make an impact on these people, so that they're going to understand what I'm going to be describing. I'm actually getting a bit emotional here. So yeah, I then put my right foot in that bus, got in there, and I was, first of all, I was silent for a moment, when I got into the bus. Met the captain, asked him his name, and then I took the microphone, and I introduced myself, and I said to them that I need to explain to you what I look like, because you would probably think that it's just a woman stepping onto the bus. I'm a woman in hijab. I wear a headscarf. I'm a Muslim. My name is Fayrouz. And, what's funny is my surname, and they were like, okay, so what's your surname? And I said, well, if you can guess it, I'll give you a free burger. And they were like, what is this, So I said to them, Holiday October, and they had such a laugh, and I thought that was just an icebreaker. But Taryn, when I stood in the bus, I just looked up, and the first thing I saw were the murals of Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Now, the shirt Madiba wears. It is so beautiful. It is full of print and color, and it just speaks volumes about South Africa, And that was where I started. I said to them, I want to explain a shirt of a man that is so influential in South Africa and the world, and la 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 la. And that is just where it all started, you know, and the conversation. I felt so comfortable. But my tour in guiding it was having to be so much more descriptive, because first, normally I could say, look on your left, look on your right. You know, I always tell people before I start the tour that this is not a coach, but in this coach, I have a coach. And they go like, what do you mean? And I say, I'm the coach and we are on the tennis court. So I'm going to say, to your left, to your right, go and get the ball to your left, to your right, you know, that kind of thing. So this is how I manage them. And what was beautiful, Taryn, was that we had to do Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens as well. And obviously we have to take them to the Braille Trail. This is a norm, you know, because you go in, they're visually impaired, Braille is what they're going to want to experience. But I did tell them about the Boomslang Canopy Walk. And they said to me, forget that Braille Trail, take us there. And I mean, I had 20 visually impaired people going on this walk, which was like, oh my God, it was just amazing. And one of the gentlemen that I was actually, you know, kind of assisting, as we were chatting, and, you know, I said to him, okay, in the next 2 steps you'll find we're going to go 3 steps up, or whatever the case may be. He said to me, where were you when the landmine went off? You could have guided me not to step on it. And, you know, he just burst out laughing, and I thought, wow, people have, you know, is visually impaired, he's completely blind now, and we can still crack these jokes. And I thought, you know, how, you know, people are still living life, and how grateful we should be, you know, for life. So it was a mind-blowing experience. I learned so much from them. And, you know, going to the conference now, I started off on Sanzaf is actually helping it for them. I was privy to be a part of a few things there, and I took some of the participants to their rooms, and for me to have had to show them, you know, this is the shampoo bottle, it's on the far right, in the middle you find the conditioner, on the left is the shower gel, this is where the tap is, you know. We take things so for granted, we just walk and we just do things. And, you know, here you found somebody that had to orientate themselves with everything around them because they didn't know where they were.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's such a simple solution, because I'm so glad that you just mentioned now the shampoo and the conditioner. Can you imagine if the shampoo, the conditioner and the body wash is all in the same bottles? So so someone actually who is blind cannot decipher what is what. How much easier it would just be if we had a set standard within hotels that shampoo would be this shape and conditioner would be another shape. Or if a hotel line actually implemented that as part of their initiative and their drive to be inclusive, that they are having their shampoo and their conditioner bottles. Simple solutions, Fayrouz. Simple solutions.
Absolutely.
You know, it doesn't need to cost you different if we've got one that's around a ball and the other one that is elongated, but it makes a massive difference for someone that's actually needing to take a shower and to wash themselves. The other thing I just wanted to touch on, and that experience is so beautiful, Fayrouz. It was so beautiful also because of the person that you are, and because of the way that you handled it and stepped into that space. And I really wish that there were more Fayrouzes out there. But what role, because not everybody is like you, do you think that it would be a benefit for tour guides to have disability sensitivity training, so that should they be put in situations like that, it's not an embarrassment for the client, for the traveler, and it's not an embarrassment for them as well? I mean, what do you think the role in training, and do you think that you would have felt that you would have benefited more if you had been trained and not felt maybe so scared at the beginning?
Absolutely, Taryn. I can't agree with you more. Like, I mean, I was just thinking on Sunday, you know, when I was busy with at the conference there, how hotel staff need to be trained, you know, which is a big must, because they are the ones that actually manage these people. When the porter takes, you know, the porter, he was so cute. I said to him, you take the guest up, okay? And it was a couple. So the husband held onto the porter and the wife held onto the husband, and off they went. And you know what? I became the porter. I dragged the luggage, and I just wanted to see him, how he managed them. Because I mean, I could have done it, but I just left him, and he did a phenomenal job. Then again, you know, it's all about you as a human being. You know, how do you emotionally just go like, listen, let me do this. I don't know anything, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to try. But in the room, he did not know how to orientate them, okay, around the room. And then of course I stepped in on that, and I showed them how to do it. And he followed me wherever I went so that he could see what I was showing. And he said, the next one I'm going to do it because now I understand what I need to do. And from there I could now understand that that is a real gap, you know, in the tourism, hospitality and travel industry, where our people are not being trained to assist people that are
to assist people. Exactly.
And
like I said, it's not necessarily a thing of unwillingness. And so now it might seem, or it comes across as if it's unwillingness or uncaringness. It's simply, you know, by the poor person looks like they're unwilling or uncared. Meanwhile, they simply weren't trained, because the hotel didn't think about catering for this specific market, right? And training really is, it's great for everybody. I watched a wonderful presentation yesterday at the Dubai Tourism Conference, where they spoke about this wonderful initiative that they have here at Dubai Airport, where they have also trained all 6,000 of their staff in disability sensitivity training, from the front desk to the packer of the luggage. Everybody has gone through, and a continuous training. And they've got programs such, for example, with the sunflowers. So when you get to Dubai Airport, you'll see a little sunflower badge, or people walking with lanyards with sunflowers on. And those are people that you can go and help if you have an invisible disability, or you've got a child with an invisible, so particularly with autism. So it's run with the Autism Association here in Dubai. And basically what this does is that these people have been trained not just to detect physical disabilities, but to detect invisible disabilities, because they've been trained. So they can detect what an autistic child is not being naughty or throwing a tantrum. He's going through an information, a sensory overload. They've got calming rooms in the airport.
Wow.
Calming rooms.
Amazing.
They've got, they've got quiet, so it's where it's a quiet airport where they keep the noises and that to a certain level, so that it doesn't become such a sensory overload for people. So we can see that there is so much to do, but it starts with training. I mean, if people are not trained, you know, and it's these simple things. I think.
I think in every mode of training, whatever it may be, there needs to have that training.
Absolutely.
Part of the manual. Absolutely, because
it has to.
You like to help, but maybe you are somebody that's frail, but you don't know which way to manage them. Maybe, for example, you know, even with people with visual disabilities, they need to hold on to your right, to hold on to your right arm or elbow, so that you steer them, so they know where you are going to. The right arm actually shows that for you, you know. So there's a lot to learn, and I guess to start with us, you know.
Absolutely. And taking also responsibility, I think, as well, because there are training out there, and it's about taking that responsibility that I think this is important. I need to go and I need to get the training. Now, Fayrouz, before we tie up, we've come to the end of this conversation, which I have enjoyed immensely. I just quickly want you to say, how can people get in touch with Women in Tourism? Where can they get hold of you if they want to become a member and really grow their tourism business?
Sure. Look, we are on all the platforms, you know, our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course, the website. It's www.witwc, so Women in Tourism, witwc.co.za.
Thank you.
And
thank you so much, Fayrouz, thank you so much for your time and for coming in and having this conversation. It's been very, very enlightening, and you truly are a woman that's living up to your name, Fayrouz Holliday. I thought, really, you know, in the tourism.
It would be very upset if you weren't included.
Don't forget October, and October is my birth month. As you know, we're running a competition to win this very beautiful Tanzanite ring in October. For
Absolutely amazing. It's stunning. It's stunning.
it is so stunning.
Don't worry,
So,
I'm also part of the competition.
you also found wonderful. So we know October is a blessed month. Fayrouz, I wish you all of the best for all of your endeavors. Thank you so much for your heart, for your kindness, for your compassion, and for your willingness to really be able to offer better tourism services for persons with disabilities, no matter what that be, whether it's invisible or visible. So thank you so much, Fayrouz, and I wish you a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing you as soon as I'm back in Cape Town.
Yes, sure. Thank you to you, Taryn, as well, for being on the forefront of doing what you do as able to travel, because, it is really, really needed, and the awareness is very much more important. Once we create awareness, we are able to get things going. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day in Dubai. I mean, a wonderful time in Dubai. Looking forward to seeing you back in Cape Town again soon, inshallah. Take care.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.